So let's hop into the discussion, right? So last week we talked about loneliness versus solitude and what those differences are and how they show up and how they affect the relationships that you can have. This week I kind of wanted to go towards the conversation of community
Okay.
and how right now there's almost this kind of like cloud around it that makes it seem inconvenient. And
Mm-hmm.
we've got to be honest in saying that a lot of things worth having aren't always convenient.
Mm-hmm.
They cost certain
Mm-hmm.
things. So I want to talk about the inconvenience of community because we
Man,
hear
so powerful.
inconvenience and that sounds just like a inconvenience. I don't want to be inconvenienced. Like what does
Mm-hmm.
that mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you think about community, especially like from the dawn of time, people had their roles that they played.
Mm-hmm.
They did, sometimes you were doing things that you didn't necessarily want to do, but it was for the betterment of the total
Mm-hmm.
of the community. Um, and even today, like when you have community, when you have your circle,
Mm-hmm.
you may find yourself going to events when you're tired,
Yeah, man.
which is showing up,
Showing up.
housing people when you like living alone
Mm.
because they don't have anywhere to
They're in
go.
need.
They're
Yeah.
in need.
Mm-hmm.
Lending money when you may not want to
Ain't
do
got it.
that or ain't got it
Or really don't want to.
or really don't want to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to note that community doesn't mean it fits into I'm always in sunshine,
Mm-hmm.
because community also means that what my fellow person in my community is going through, I can share a bit of that burden as well.
Yeah. Because one day
It could be you.
the shoe will be on the other foot.
And I can almost guarantee you, in whatever situation you think you're in, the shoe will be on the other foot
Shoe
in
will be on the
some
other
way,
one.
shape,
And
or
that's
form.
why you stay humble. Cause you get in a situation and then you start smelling yourself, think you better than somebody.
Truly
When
humble under
next
God.
next week it could be you.
And the reason I said that it will be because we talked about life again. You could reference some of our older episodes weeks ago.
Yeah.
Life is going to happen, and
To us
so
all.
it could be maybe you are the most financially stable in your community, in your
Yep.
group, and you feel like, man, I'm always helping people. And this is not to be taken advantage of. We're not making you the
Mhm.
Terry of the family from Soul
Okay,
Food,
not
okay?
Terry.
We're not making
Mhm.
you that. But you just feel like, you see the growth, you see people trying. It's not
Mhm.
like they're taking advantage of you, but you just
Mhm.
always feel like, man, and you just haven't had to lean on anyone in that
Mhm.
way. Well, maybe grief strikes you,
Mm.
and now I need to lean on you emotionally.
Mhm.
You are my shoulder to cry on. You're my
Yes.
board, my sounding board. When I want to crash out, I
Yeah.
come to you. I'm spilling out my emotions. I get to talk through these things. I get to feel the feels, feel my
Yeah.
feelings. It's going to circle around at some point where you're going to need to lean on the other person. That
Yeah.
is the pinnacle of community.
Mhm.
Leaning on one another and leaning into the strengths of one another
Mhm.
to make sure as you all create this bond, this circle, this figurative circle that is strong and impenetrable.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts?
I so love that because we we it was so funny that we talked about loneliness, solitude, and all of that. But the key word that we continue to say is season of separation or
Mm-hmm.
taking time for alone for solitude.
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean all day, every day you just be by yourself. That's not ideal. We literally tell you every week, sit on this couch and say, people are our greatest resource, you know? They help for growth. They help you to see yourself. They're there for accountability. They're there to leave a legacy. They're there to help each
Mm-hmm.
other, you know? And the importance of community is that the Bible says, like, time and chance happens to us all. It's gonna rain on the just and the unjust. There's gonna be a time where you're gonna be up, and there's gonna be a time where you down.
That's just law of the land.
Come on now. And you're going to need people around you that will be when you're up, and be with you when you're down. And you don't get up and just forget everybody. And then, that's not ideal, because one day you'll probably be down. And one thing I saw, I like to watch documentaries. Like, I just watched, who is that? It was a documentary about a really old, I can't think of his name. The guy that made, I can't think of it. Anywho, what was his name?
What did he make?
He made a lot of music, but it was in like the 60s and 70s.
Quincy Jones?
Not Quincy Jones. He had a big afro. He played keys. Well, he played basically everything. And his group was like all kind of black, white, male, female.
Oh, Sly.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Sly and the Family Stone.
I watched his Sly and the Family Stone. And basically they were saying how he got so big, it was almost like you don't have no choice but to go down. Like he got so popular, and because of his popularity, and then they started, taking substances, and his fall was so hard that it was just almost iconic how hard he fell.
You want to imagine high up,
because he was so high up, and how he just like stopped showing up to concerts and everything like that.
Yeah, just really quick sidebar with that. My mom has a story about that.
Really?
She went to a concert and she said he did not come out on stage.
Yeah.
For 2.5 hours they were out there.
Yeah,
and he never came out on stage. He was back. He was in the back high.
Yeah, like how they stopped showing up. And I'm bringing that up because sometimes your talent can take you places and you can get high up, but a true friend that knows you, that is down for you, that will call you on your stuff, that's irreplaceable. But when you go up, all these people gonna come around you.
Cause you're up. A friend is like a gym, and that's I think community. Up. And you want to. I love that you reference the solitude versus the loneliness conversation that we had, because we talked about in that solitude you find yourself, and when you know who you are, building community is easier. I think because you're finding people who fit in that realm of what you do like, what you don't like, what I will tolerate, what I won't tolerate. And I really feel like we're paying the price of inconvenience and loneliness because we're just not willing to stretch ourselves. Yeah. And especially like when you're that big and you don't have to bend
for people.
I am who I am. I snap my fingers and I can have whatever I want at my beck and call. It's way harder to build community then.
Yeah, it's like...
Then when you are and I just read Jonathan McReynolds' book about, preparing yourself in the valley for the mountain. When you're in the valley, I think it's really much easier.
People probably like you for you if they hanging around you.
If I ain't got nothing to offer you, well, you think you don't have anything to offer, right? And that's the trick of the enemy, I feel like, because you're like, I don't got this, I don't got that. And you're looking at people like, what am I? But you don't know. Maybe you're offering a laugh. Maybe you're offering confidence. Maybe you're offering stability. Maybe you're offering accountability. Maybe you're offering a crying shoulder, maybe a sounding board. Sometimes people want to just talk. And maybe you're a good listener.
Man, that's priceless.
Priceless. There are a lot of people I know personally and I've seen online who don't have good listeners in their lives.
Yeah, that's tough.
So you don't know what you have to offer. You got to really be mindful of the people who God is bringing into your life and into your community and really don't take them for granted. And don't let them take you for granted either, right? It's a quid pro quo on that spectrum. But I definitely felt like I wanted to touch on the fact that it's way easier down here to build that circle. Then you're the pinnacle of success. And you have yes men, and I don't want to be kicked out the camp. God, I'm living the high life. We on the tour, and I get everything I got paid for.
And community is about, and it's gonna require you to be inconvenient.
And people don't. I think, and we love you, younger generation. We truly do. And we say this in love because we see things, and we want you to be successful not only in your careers but in life and relationships, because you're gonna need to have those interpersonal skills and have those relationships to get to wherever you want to go. Y'all don't like to be inconvenienced. You just don't. Everything is a protect my peace. Everything is, and there was this meme you saw, I protected my peace so much, and now you look around, nobody's there. I protected my peace a little too hard. Just because something happens, somebody does something you don't agree with, maybe they made a decision that you're like, that's stupid. Why would you do that? Well, why are you judging McJudgerson when 2 months ago you was calling no boy or calling no girl and making a stupid decision as well? Like you said, it, the shoe is going to drop eventually. Like the tables
are going to turn. The one thing about them
tables, they going to turn.
They do turn.
They going to turn. They do turn.
Yeah.
So you have to give people grace.
Yes.
You have to approach situations like from a form of positive intent. If you know at the core this person is not malicious and they're not coming at you and trying to harm you or using you, or that like
they're genuinely in a need
and they're going through a rough time. It is your job, if you are in relationship with this person, and when I say relationship, I mean friendship, romantic, whatever, close enough in proximity to consider them someone of value to you, to lend out a helping hand, and pull them up, because one day
you're gonna need somebody
to
lift you up.
You watched the slide. I haven't watched it yet. I do want to watch that documentary. But I think about stories and documentaries that I've heard about MC Hammer, and how he felt the need to take care of everybody from his community. And like, these are people I grew up with, and they along for the high life, man. We rolling large. We living large, taking charge. And then when he fell down and had no money, had no nothing, nobody was around. Not a single helping hand. You done put these people on payroll. You done fed them, clothed them, give them places to stay, helped their families, got their mama out of eviction, got their people out of hospitals. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I'm down on my, because I done used my last to help you. And ain't nobody around to help me when I'm down and out.
We gotta do better at that. Like, and yes, we have to, as people, be discerning. But you get to create your community.
You get to create it.
As an adult.
Absolutely.
You get to pick the people that you allow access to you. And so with that in mind, you need to be careful and mindful of motive.
Motive is good.
Motive.
Like, we don't like to look at people's motives. Because we like the praise.
We like the praise and we like the fantasy.
We like the fantasy.
Okay, we like the fantasy. Oh, yeah. They just love me and they just want to be around me and they think I'm so funny. They left out all my jokes. Okay, you also paying a bill and you also doing this and you also doing that. Yeah.
When you
but
up, you up.
Is it mutually beneficial? You understand what I'm saying? So is this idea of we have, I help you, you help me, we're here for each other. It's exchange. It's not always even. It's not always equal. But I
Nothing's
show up for
even
you.
though. That's
Nothing.
a myth.
Nothing.
When people talk about 50-50, that's a lie in
Yeah.
any relationship.
Yeah.
Some days it's going to be 80-20.
Some days.
Some days it's going to be 70-30. Some
Yeah.
days it may be 50-50, but it's going to equal 100.
Yeah. But are we both giving
Yeah.
effort?
Yeah.
You know, are we both sharing and feeling like responsible for the well-being of each other?
And when I say community, I really want to make sure to, when you hear the term community, you really think broad. Your circle could be 2 people.
Could be.
That could be your community.
Could
2,
be.
3, sometimes 1.
Yeah. At the time.
At
Hopefully
the
it
time.
won't stay like
Hopefully
that,
it won't stay like that. But at the time, it could be 1 person.
Could be. But y'all are both showing up for each other.
Yep.
That's where it matters, and that's where it counts. And a lot of times that's not gonna be convenient. It's like when you rolling, now your friend down, and then when your friend down, now you up, and it's like this. It's doing this. But that's the thing. It's like you gotta be willing to inconvenience yourself for your fellow man.
Because at the core of it, inconvenience just means taking you out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
What you're comfortable with at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would like to talk about how just community and friendship can be an inconvenience. It's not always convenient to show up for people's events, and
man, the older you get, the more inconvenient it
It's
gets. The more responsibilities get added on. Family, friends, you get married, you have kids, you got jobs, you doing all kind of stuff. Entrepreneurship.
it's not easy.
It's not. It is
But
a labor of love.
you have to see your friendships as valuable
Valuable.
assets to you. And you can't just because you're up and you're living life,
Yeah.
forget y'all, I'm doing me, because that shoe will drop. And not that you do it for that, but you just got to understand, if you forget everybody, I'm up, forget all y'all. When you come down and then you realize, man, I left all my friends. You know, there were people that were truly loyal to me and for me and were supportive. And because I just got into my own zone and only think about myself and only think about what I have on my agenda and my kids and my hobbies and what I want to do all the time, like, and I don't check on and check into or show up for other people, like, you're missing out. You're missing on an opportunity. I think about some of the times that I just showed up for people just to help.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing. You got a dream.
What can I do?
I support you, therefore I support your dream. How can I help you? Whether that's to move, whether that's to work a dream with you, expecting nothing in return. I just know this is something, and I know what it's like to need help. I know what that's like, so I wanna be that for you. How much I learned. How much I met different people. How much I made different connections that I never would have met if I didn't get my head out of my own world that's all about me all the time and all about what I'm doing and what I'm about, enough to consider and be interested in and care and help somebody else with their vision. It was a blessing to me. Whether I just met someone, whether it was a great experience, whether it was, whether I learned something, whether I just the joy of seeing them get the weight lifted off their shoulders by showing up and serving, like, you gain favor. Like, people would never forget when they needed something the most, how you showed up.
Tell me about it.
They never forget. So it's such a blessing. It's a blessing in that, and don't miss community because you so into what you're doing. That's what I would say to my younger sisters and brothers. Like, yeah, I know you're on the game. Yeah, I know you into what you're doing. Yeah, I know you talking to your friends, but your
You're on the
auntie might need
phone,
your
you
help doing
texting.
something.
Yeah.
And your grandmother might need your help doing something. And your grandma not going to be here forever.
Your mom.
Your mom, your
Or your
parents
dad,
not going to
yeah.
be here forever. And so I know it may be an inconvenience to you. Like, well, I got this going on and I want to be with my friends and all this. But they're not always going to be there. You're not always going to be around. You're not always going to be that age. You're probably going to go away to school or, things change. And so come out of your little world. No shade to your world to call it little, but sometimes, we in our own little world, myself included, enough to say people are asking
In the
for
grand
me
scheme of the big world, your
of the
world
big
is
world.
little.
Yeah. Somebody wants you to be a part of something that doesn't involve you as the focus. That's hard for us sometimes. It's like, if it ain't about me, it ain't my party. If it ain't, it's like, it's not a priority, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Like, we need to do better.
But then when it is about you, you want other people to show up. That doesn't make any sense.
But you can't show up for nobody else. It's giving.
It's giving you want to say nobody's ever there for me,
But you're never there for nobody else. You're not there. You're not there. So we need to sow the seeds.
That's good.
Sow the right seeds.
Yeah. You got to sow seeds. Mm-hmm. You do. In community, you sow seeds.
Mm-hmm. You do.
And the advantageous part about having community and sowing seeds is the other individuals are always also sowing seeds, so it's fertile ground.
And you might not. Hopefully you don't get the harvest from that person, but you never know how your name will get around as a for real, genuine, good person.
Well, I'm not saying you're not necessarily going to have to look to get to harvest, but I'm just saying as a community, it's fertile ground.
It's fertile
period.
ground. It is.
Everybody is sowing seeds.
Yeah.
And your harvest is going to come from wherever it comes from.
From wherever it comes, but it could be as simple as, do you know such and such? Oh my God, yes I do. They're an incredible person. Do you know when I did this and did this, they did this for me and I didn't even ask. They just showed up and did this. You never know.
Let me tell you something about working in the industry. And working, period. But working in the industry. 2 ways people will remember you. Because they will remember you. Good interaction or bad interaction. Period. This person was a pleasure to work with. I had no issues. They were so great. They were so helpful. Da 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 da. They just couldn't get this. Not on time, just weren't listening, looked like they were distracted, uninterested. Like, these adjectives matter when you're trying to move forward, especially, what I'm saying, we're talking to people who want to move forward in certain disciplines where people connections matter. You being able to get into the room. Now, granted, yes, God is the ultimate connection. He can open doors for you. But God ain't going to open doors for you if you is not a good worker anyway. Or you're not a good person.
Not being a good steward.
You're not being a good steward anyway. So why would I give you more?
That's so good.
I think friendship is stewardship.
So good.
And so if you can't show God that I can steward the people you sent me in my community well, why would I make you ruler over anything? Or like you desire to be this. I want to be on top. I want to do this. You want to be on top. Sorry. I'm so immature.
I was just about to say that. You want to be on top?
I'm so immature. Oh my gosh.
I was just.
Why does my mind work like this?
No, this is what happens when you grew up in our time period and watch television.
And I just want to say,
we were all rooting
for you. And I want to just say, quick commercial break. If you have not listened to Tyra Banks, she just recently got an Icon Award. Listen to that speech. It really gives. It is great. Okay. She addresses some of the backlash.
Really?
And the way she did it, I think it was at the NAACP Awards, maybe.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Great, great speech. But anyway, yes, if you're not a good steward over these few people that I gave you, you're not a good friend. You don't check in on nobody. You don't help nobody when they down, even when you got it. Some people don't help you when they got it. You can't can't be there for people. You don't show up to events. You don't serve. They just needed, you know what I'm saying? They didn't ask you for help.
5 volunteers. You can't even volunteer.
And they didn't personally ask you, but you saw that they needed help. And I love that you said sometimes you just show up to events, because I'm a helper. Yeah. I'm going to show up. What can I do? Where can I set up? You need me to, I'll put this fruit on the tray. Where can I get, you need some chairs out? I'm going to put some chairs out. I sweep. The windows need to be clean.
You know what taught us that? College and serving in that little college church. Man. We did everything, child.
We ran that church.
We
really did.
18, 19, 20 running. Who let us run the church?
Ooh, it was possible.
We didn't know what we was doing. We was just doing everything.
Tara.
Teaching classes on the prayer team, and worship, doing campus ministry, handing out foods and doing plays. We was doing everything.
They gave us classes, and we was not ordained. we was teaching classes. They made me over the prayer ministry.
I was over the worship team. We was 19, 20. Yo, we was 19, 20.
Oh my God!
Look at us now, though.
Look at us now. It's just always sowing ground. It taught us.
Yeah,
taught
we
us to
learned
serve.
how to serve. We was putting on events and putting little food items together.
Going to the community, evangelizing, giving food.
In the community.
Giving food back to the community.
Going to the nursing homes.
Oh my gosh. I forgot. Yo,
going to the nurse home, praying for the elderly. That taught us how to serve.
It really, I will say that you're right. It really did teach me how to serve.
And it's not about you. It's just not about you. We was supposed to be on spring break partying up. Where are we doing ministry?
You think we went to Miami for good times?
Did it?
Ministry.
We was in church. Like, dang. How did we care?
And I want to say this.
God manipulated us.
The manipulated. Well, see, what had happened was Tara manipulated me.
Well, I said, I'm not going to be alone in this.
I met Tara. We instantly connect. We was friends. And then probably 2 weeks later, she was like, I got this meeting. No, it wasn't church. I'm going to this meeting. Come with me.
Study. It was a Bible study.
It was the intro to the Sold Out Choir.
Oh.
Come to this meeting with me. Yes, Shalana girl, if you listening, girl.
We was like,
I said, now I've been manipulated.
Yes, girl.
And then all of a sudden, I'm at this church because I was going to the rival church. We had a rival.
Church. You did not. It was not a rival church.
It was a rivalry. That's not of God, but it was a rivalry. It was a rivalry. I was going to the rival church, and they had almost got me.
I can't believe you were going there. That doesn't seem like your flavor.
It wasn't. I was going there because the boy I liked.
Tell the truth or shame the devil. Tell the truth.
And we went to church. I said, you go to this church? Yeah, I love church. I mean, I wasn't lying. I did. But I went to that church and I was like,
you better not. Shut your face.
Wind. Where are you? Are you there? But
we was doing concerts, we was doing stage plays, we was always doing something.
You talk about, if you think about like an average college student class party, but replace party with ministry.
Yes.
That 100%. Is what we were doing. That's what we were all doing. The time. Granted, I had a couple of extracurricular activities with campus groups. I was like president or like vice or whatever of, but it was majority like ministry. You at that church serving.
Yeah, you're serving. You're serving on campus or you're serving at the church.
At the church.
And yeah, it really helped us to understand. Like,
it helped me. I will say personally, and if I can be honest. I talked a little bit. I was about to say I was very selfish.
You know, you're a teenager. You're selfish.
But Tara, no, I was a brat.
I was a brat because you're the youngest.
Yeah, and I was just very used to getting my way, and I never really, I was a good kid in the sense I
You were
did
a
what I
good kid.
said,
You were a good
I
kid.
did what you told me to do, because I didn't like getting in trouble.
You're a
I
golden
just
child.
don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm not going to say I didn't do things that my parents didn't know about, and that's why I said, Mama, don't listen to this. But I I wanted what I wanted when I wanted. You remember how I used to talk to people, even guys, especially guys.
You could be very direct, a little abrupt. But
I appreciate the soft
direct.
language you're using with me
it
right
was
now.
direct, but I don't think you were that bad, honestly.
Maybe it was what I did in private.
Okay. But just
I wasn't like a mean girl.
You wasn't. That's what I'm saying. You weren't a mean girl.
But I did want what I want. And I wasn't used to, I was used to like, I like to serve and help people. That was always my portion and my nature. But I also love my time. I love to myself. I want to do what I want to do. Like, I don't want anybody to monopolize. I don't want to be, and it really, that really broke me down. And it was like, no, servitude is like important. You need to learn this now.
You need to learn this. We paid dues. We paid some dues.
We did. We put some roots down, and the harvest of some of those things it has come and it's still coming. I feel like
I got some stuff on the way. I got some seed in the ground. I got some seed in the ground. Still from them days. I know it. Got to be.
I got some tears in that carpet. Lord, you said, what I sow in tears, I shall reap in joy.
That's what you said. I got
tears in that carpet,
baby.
It's coming to me.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, that's so true. Servitude, sacrifice. I think
for others,
servitude is inconvenient.
Yeah,
it doesn't come when it's going to be neatly placed into your life.
Yeah.
And that is friendship too. We talked about showing up. You're not always going to be at optimal energy when somebody needs you to show up.
Man, most of the time it's the opposite. Most of the time they calling you when like you down, you are already down, you don't feel like you tired.
I'm done.
You like, you want how much and I got how much? Like it's
you
not,
take a deep breath.
Yeah. Lord,
hello.
Is this you? Hello. I think this is not you. I rebuke you saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, can't be, Lord. Come on now. Come on.
Enough.
Yeah. But it's a stretching.
Yeah.
And we're not saying don't have boundaries, but
absolutely.
Y'all know when God is speaking to you and when, it's just people. And, when
that conscience is there.
Like, it's so many places in the Bible where it's like the man, the Good Samaritan.
Oh,
the guy was on the road. He died. You think that was convenient for him to pick him up, to clean him off, to take and pay his bill? And the people that came before that were preachers and like today's pastors, and they just left him there. You know what I'm saying? It's so many times where we have to be inconvenienced for others.
And you give, you do give according to what the Lord tells you, but you can also give what you have. What you can.
Maybe I can't.
I don't have a capacity to talk to you every night.
Yeah.
We talked about this a couple of episodes ago, but maybe once or twice a month we can have a movie night virtually or something, or I come over and spend time with you in whatever capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not all. Sometimes you can't do what you wish you could, but sometimes you can do. Sometimes it's like, no, you need to show up in this way.
And you never know what you give, what it's going to do to the other person.
Oh my
it could
God.
be immeasurable.
That's so true.
To them.
It could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Y'all, for this week's homework, we want you to take inventory of your community, and we want you to write down how you're showing up for each individuals in that community and how they're showing up for you.
That's good.
And then, your study guide, look at it, think about, okay, this is where I'm showing up, this is where this person's showing up, make some correlations, do some inventory, do some reflection. We really reflective around here.
Cause you could look at it and say, man, they're always doing stuff for me, but I don't never do nothing for them.
Or vice versa.
So that's important.
That's important.
Am I making any sacrifice?
Yeah.
When is the last time I went out my way for them?
There's a part 2 I want you to do. I want you to write down the last 3 times you were inconvenienced in friendship, and did you show up or didn't you show up?
We like to make excuses.
I didn't want to do this, but I did it.
We like to say all the reasons why we could, and I just had.
But
people when it's time for you and you have a need, people have stuff going on too.
Everybody got a life. Effie, we all got pain. Like, everybody's life is moving along, and if someone is willing to show up for you and make them a priority in your life, the least you could do is also do the same.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's better to give.
Better to give than receive, for sure. Yeah. I love that. Well, we thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Friendship University podcast. We love that we were able to sit down for another conversation with you all this week. You know where to find us. Everything is going to be linked in the description box below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Send this to your community. Everybody in your community, let them listen so that you all are on one accord.
Come
you
on,
all
one
can be
accord,
so
miss.
much better for each other. We're trying to heal and grow and make really fertile, strong soil. So thank you all for tuning in. We love you so much, and we will see you next week.